Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. My name is Barbara Thompson. Each week, I'll be bringing you a self-care expert or a message to help you to discover how to live your best life and understand your mind-body connection. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now, let the Studio Chat begin. Welcome to episode 42, The Sisters of Self-Care. Today, I'd love to introduce you to Pam and Inge, the founders of Mia and Mae Co, two sisters based in Melbourne. Their mission is to help women connect with themselves by caring for their mind, body, and spirit. They value the importance of self-care and wellness on both a physical and spiritual level. They ventured on a mission together to create a collection of thoughtfully curated gift boxes that nourish, promote wellness, and inspire time for self-care. They have sourced an amazing array of natural, eco-friendly, and Australian-made products. They work with a family of suppliers and other like-minded small businesses who just love creating beautiful, natural, eco-friendly products. They strongly believe that self-care shouldn't come at a cost to Mother Earth. Their story is just the beginning, so stay tuned to what these beautiful ladies do. They'll be adding more delightful curated gift boxes to their collection in the new year. This chat, they share their own personal stories of why they've created a business like this and what self-care tools they've used in the past to help them, as well as a couple of amazing self-care hacks that they share with you in this. In this podcast, we do talk about, there is a trigger warning in here that we do talk about miscarriage, suicide, anxiety. It's such a beautiful episode, this one, because it's a real personal one where we share what's worked for us and a little bit about burning sage and crystals, and that's all quite new to me. But if you're a mother to a teenage girl or you know a teenage girl, this podcast, please feel free to share this around because we do talk about bullying and crystals and burning sage and rituals and journaling, and it's just a really beautiful episode to talk about self-care and all the different ways that we can care for our mind and our body and our environment, and we can really build a community around this and looking out from one another and sharing our stories, being vulnerable, and and these girls are just radiate so much joy and so much love, and I know that you're going to hear this through the podcast, so please enjoy. I know you're going to enjoy episode 42, The Sisters of Self-Care with Pam and Inge. Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. I'd love to introduce two beautiful sisters. I always call them like the self-care sisters. And I've known these two ladies for a while now, and I would really love to, I'd love you guys to share with my listeners a bit about you.
So obviously we're two sisters. So Pam is the eldest. I'm the youngest, which I'm Inge. And we come from both different backgrounds in terms of work, and we decided to create something out of our own, and we saw a gap and we thought, you know what, why not? I think it also came out with I think we got stuck in trying to buy something for someone and we didn't know what to buy. And we were and I said to Pam once, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if you could do something with crystals and things like that? And that's how the whole business kind of developed in that way. And we saw a niche that we thought that we could kind of tap into, especially because we were both very passionate about self-care, and it's something that we try to really do on a day-to-day basis as well, and especially pass it on to the people around us, even with our mum, we try to get her to do some self-care. I know that Pam does with the kids as well. So
yeah, there was definitely a gap in the market for it, so we wanted something that was a little bit holistic, something with intention and purpose, and not just beauty products or, food products. We wanted something that had a little bit more intention to it, something that we felt, the person that we were buying for could really resonate with and would help them on every level, not just sort of spoiling them with something. She was going through quite a difficult time when we were looking for something for her. So it was more something just to sort of pump her up a little bit, give her some motivation or just send her some love and light during that time. So we were like, you know what, there's actually a real need for this. Women don't really spend enough time looking after themselves. Like on our list, it's everybody else before yourself. And so you don't really get the time or the space to, tap back in with yourself, check in on yourself. How am I going? How am I feeling? Like, what do I need? What can I do? And we don't have excess time available to us either. Like I'm a working mum, I've got 2 young kids. My self-care routine isn't going to the spa session and spending an hour there getting pampered, because I don't have an hour, and most women have that time. It's very quick, and self-care looks so different to all of us. Okay, so it's not like, having beautiful luxurious baths all the time, or, doing a mini facial every day. We don't always, and not all of us like doing the same thing, and we all need different things throughout our journey. So for instance, for me, something that really helped me develop ideas for the business was that, I went through a lot of miscarriages. I suffered a lot of loss with, trying to start a family. I lost a baby in the 2nd trimester, which was quite, scarring, and I needed to heal from that process. So we'd reflect back on our own journeys and be like, okay, so if someone's going through this in their life, what would be something that would support them or help them through that journey? So there's like healing and well-being, there's motivational kits in there as well, there's like journals, there's crystals, and the crystals have all been picked with intention to that they help our customers or the person that they're gifting it to go through whatever part of their life or their journey they're in at that point in time. So that's what sort of motivated me. You've had different experiences that motivated your insights and ideas for it.
Yeah, like I feel like we both come from very different avenues, and we both bring so many different things to the business as well, from different aspects of like personal experiences and things like that. For me, like I had a pattern of being in bad relationships, and even coming out of a bad relationship, that's super daunting, like especially taking the courage to walk away from one. And throughout my experiences, I've also come across like toxic workplaces as well. So I said to Pam once, like, walking away from a relationship is traumatic as it is, but also walking away from a job is traumatic as it is as well, because there is trauma that's linked to that. There's the uncertainty. Am I doing the right thing? Am I going to find another job? What am I going to be like financially? So I also saw like that there was a gap there for the business as well, because like, women sometimes need just something small. And like for me personally, I found that journaling was super like healing, and it really got me into that. Like I'm a very productive person. Like I like, to-do lists. I like to be OCD when it comes to certain things. And also like through the boxes and creating them, like I kind of opened up that area of like not being so OCD about certain things, and like appreciating the smaller things. And that even if it meant like a crystal, like it was something that was beautiful for me, and it was like very healing. So I found that was something definitely that we could incorporate it in all the boxes as well. Like I know that there was discussion about creating boxes like for a breakup, which I think would be really cool. Like I feel like a lot of people would resonate with that, because you could be breaking up with not just like a partner, you could be breaking up from a friendship, or it could be many, many things, breaking away from a job. So that was definitely something that resonated with me personally. And I kind of like, when we started creating boxes, I'd be like, oh, this is something that really helped me heal. Like, why don't we like incorporate it? And so Pam would have something that she found that resonated with her, and we would like kind of create something that would kind of be suitable for many aspects as well, not just for one.
Yeah.
Thank you both, because I think you both shocked yourself at how much you've just shared. I'm just reading your body language and just getting this idea where you're both sitting there going, wow, whoops, I just didn't even realize that I shared this part of myself. And I think there's a lot of women listening to this thanking you, because with both of your journeys, even though your sisters being really different, I know so many people can resonate with both of you, and even some can resonate together. They might have been through both of what you guys have been through. And I think it's really important that we sometimes are vulnerable and share people as part of our story, and it's part of who we are, and it's okay. We all have been through a tough time, or we may go through a tough time, and I think the more people that we can reach out to and resonate and go, oh my gosh, I've been through the same thing, what worked for you, rather than dealing with it alone. And why I really reached out to you guys, like, I don't know how we even started talking a while back, but I love the holistic approach, but I also love that you, like, especially with your crystals and stuff, we had a conversation with one of you. It was about teenage girls and how much teenage girls at high school now, really suffer from anxiety, but really suffer from bullying. And sometimes, suicidal thoughts and stuff. And you told me about this beautiful crystal package that you can give some teen girls that can like learn all about, because I'm still new to all of this. I'll never pretend that I'm going to be like Zen or into crystals or into set. Like, I'm really a newbie, and I'm happy to always be a newbie. But I think the cool thing is you use them in your way, and you had that crystal package for these girls that can carry them around in their school bags. You also learn about a ritual, and when they get home and they feel really anxious or alone, that they can write in their journal, or they can burn a candle, or they can have some sage. Or, I mean, I know that's just an example, but I'd love you to talk me through the reason behind that, and your experience with teenage girls and the crystals and the bullying and all that kind of stuff.
I think, like, for me, that when I was younger, I also got bullied when I was in school, and I was very different to majority of the girls in my school as well. Like, I had slight issues like with learning, like adapting to the way that the school system like introduces their schooling, and it doesn't work for everyone, and that affects a teenager or a child that's in like primary school as well, because being in a classroom and not being able to learn at the same level as everyone else is super confronting. And I remember having a discussion with Pam, and I said, I wish that there were businesses like ours when I was younger, where there was like a safe space that was held where a young girl can go and have a look at it, and like maybe learn something from it, and maybe adapt like a new type of like ritual, like you mentioned before, because like I see the generations have changed. Like Pam and I are in our mid-30s. And it's changed a lot. Social media has a big presence now, and it's very different being a teenager now to what it was when we were teenagers. And I think it would be great to have like a business that young girls can kind of gravitate to and feel safe to, because I know that there are a lot of young women that are gravitating to this type of holistic wellness healing. And it's for a reason, because it feels safe, and you can make it your own, and it can have its own like identity and uniqueness to it, because to whatever you want to create, because it's your special ritual. And I think that's one reason why we wanted to kind of like zone in on the younger generation, because I feel like there's so much negativity around it. And there's so much presence of like, you need to look a certain way, you need to do this and you need to do that. And I think we need to give young women back like that authenticity kind of to them as well. Like, that you can be different, and that's okay.
Yeah. And I'm from that generation above you guys as well, where I know a lot of my friends have teenage girls now. And I would just think, if I was a mother in this time, we don't know how to parent. Like, being a teenager is hard, full stop, right? You've got your body's changing, and you want to, and some people, we all want to be accepted, we all want to be loved, we all want to feel like we fit in, and we all want to be the same, because it's how we're wired, right? But I think especially if there's parents out there to teenage girls, you're learning with what you know. There's no handbook, but also social media wasn't around. And so I think having a business like yours too, not only are teenage girls reaching out to you, but you're giving these tools like to any mums that are listening out there too. They could almost do it as a mother-daughter thing, but also just know that they might be able to leave something on their pillow for their child, or this is how this kind of filters around the world. You talk to one person says, oh my God, do you know about these two sisters in Melbourne that have started this great business, and they have these little kits coming up to Christmas as well. You may have, it's girls and boys, it's not just anyone these days. Anybody excuse me. But I think what I'm trying to say is, we're all lost. We don't know how to live in today's world. We're not built to live in today's world. And the approach that you guys do is very grounded, and it goes back to very simple traditional roots of, how your mind and body are connected and how you feel, and using tools that most people, I was never brought up in a family with crystals or with meditation or with, I'm very smell orientated, and part of the stuff that I buy from you is, can you pronounce that, see, I'm so green. What's that wooden stuff that I burn?
The Palo Santo.
Can you say that again?
Palo Santo.
Yeah, I would have butchered that. So
it helps that we're Chilean, we're from South America, so it definitely helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, Palo Santo, it's holy wood. It's something that we grew up with in our house. Like my mum used to burn that for us. So for us, this approach is actually more like this spiritual approach that we have with our business. It's something that was embedded in us growing up. Like our families in Chile, like my mum's side was all from the country, very spiritual land, they were constantly burning sage and Palo Santo and meditating. And that was, saging was actually done in deep meditation many centuries ago, and it is still done now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually, for the young girls, I feel like going back to that is that it's empowering for them. They're taking back some power when they're doing something that they feel will help them to reconnect with themselves, or even feel like they're letting go of that negativity that was, at school for the day, or, before they go to bed, burning some Palo Santo and just, clearing their mind and meditating, or listening to some meditation music just to slow down those emotions and slow down that racing mind. Because, we've had a family and friends whose daughters have been bullied and have had, quite traumatic effects because of that. And it's really not acceptable behavior at all. It's something that, I think about with my kids. My kids are still quite young, but, what they're growing up, when they're growing up, and how school is going to be for them, and how can you support them? How can you make them feel valued and that they belong and that they're loved and that they're safe when they have all of these external negative things and daggers being thrown at them? It's, something that I think about and, constantly, because I've seen the effects of that on other, young girls, and it would be devastating as a mother. So I think back to what you said, being there for the mum as well. It could be something that they do together, let's sage your room, let's, open the window, let's play some meditation music. And we've also got a little playlist that has on Spotify, which is the Mia and Mae Co playlist, that also has music like that for the young girls to tap in there and have their crystals and set their intentions and clear the vibes that they have. And, it's something that we do want to focus a little bit more on. And we've brought in our holistic services, which you are a part of, Barbara, and that will continue to grow. And they're services that, women can tap into, even men can tap into, and seek, help, to go through their journey. Because like we've said, everyone's journey is so different. Things that work for one may work for another. Like I love Reiki. I love going and getting Reiki done. I feel like that really does help. Inge goes to the cacao ceremonies.
Yes, I love like my cacao dance ceremonies where you like move stagnant energy. And that's like something that like we've also kind of incorporated in the Mia and Mae Co playlist. So there's two. So there's one playlist that's more like meditation and slowing down the mind, like the monkey brain, like we all experience the monkey brain. And that's just to kind of get your breathing back in check. Like, there are moments where I'm even like, I stop breathing because I'm so focused on something. So that kind of like brings you back a little bit. And like, I'm more than happy to admit it because it's something that happens to all of us. Like, you get so zoned into like whatever you're doing and you get to breathe. And like the moment that you start tapping into it again, like you start to feel a movement and change. So there's that playlist. And there's also a playlist where it's more of like a dance ritual where, if I've had a really like intense day, I'll put this playlist on and I'll shake my body. And that's like my little wellness moment as well. And like I've even spoken about this with my cousin who is a lot younger than I, but we share the same interests. Like she loves crystals. She wears them in her bra when she goes to work. I wear them in my bra when I used to work in the corporate industry.
I've lose mine. Do you put them in your bra, do you?
Yeah. Like I'll put them on the side here and I pick whichever one I'm more drawn to. And it's like my little ritual in the morning. So, you know, if I want something that's a little bit more grounding and I want to stay grounded throughout the day, I'll go for like a smoky quartz and I'll put that in my bra. Or if I feel like, you know, I need a bit of protection, I'll grab an onyx with me.
Wow. See, I told you that the Light Sisters of Self-Care. See, look at that. That's like a great takeaway.
Yeah.
I'd forget that mine were in there, and then at the end of the day, I took my bra off. And
That'd be so funny.
It has happened to me. Like I've gone out and I've gone to try something on, like in the change room, and it's like falling, and I was like, "Oh, whoops! I forgot I had that," and I'll quickly grab it and I'll put it back in there.
Imagine that someone standing next to someone and hearing this.
Yeah. But you'd be surprised and how common that is. Like I've come across so many women that carry like crystals in their bras, and I've come across men that have it in their pockets.
Say men have them in their undies, and I was like,
that'd be slightly uncomfortable, I would assume.
Is that your crystal? Of course, I had to take it there tonight. I think that's wonderful. That's such a great tip. I'm going to keep that in mind.
And it's like a great little ritual to start in the morning. Like you start the day with like, you know, gravitating to whatever calls to you, and it varies each time. Like there's moments where I've worn a smoky quartz all day, like every day for 5 days, but then there'll be a moment where I'll be like, oh, you know what, I feel like a rose quartz, I feel like a bit of love, and I'll gravitate to that. And
I love that. And I think too, just going back to the different culture and stuff, that you were brought up with that, and I've discovered this really late in life, and I think it's such a, like, I have that burning in the studio, and the amount of people that come in and just say, like, I burn it because I love the smell of it, but I feel like my studio, there's a lot of energy within me. I carry a lot of energy within myself, so I have to sage myself a lot because there's a lot of energy. But then people come into my studio, again, there's a lot of energy, but I burn that stick constantly daily, and it just uplifts me. And the smell, I will kind of, and I know new cars are really toxic to smell, but we all love the smell of new cars, right? Or like leather. I will equate it to that. So when I burn that stick, it is something to me that I'm very smell orientated, but it really lifts me, but gives me that sense of luxury, like luxurious smell. It's incredible. Like I'm hooked. It's something that it brings me, I feel like my house isn't ready in the morning if I haven't burnt some. It just feels, and every time the client walks in, they're like, oh my God, your house smells good. And then I'm like, I can't smell it. I need to burn.
And it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful experience. Like I know that personally for me, like when I've done a massive clean, like on a Saturday morning, I'll get up and I'll do a massive clean. And after I finish cleaning, I will sage, and then I will go through the whole house saging, and then I will use the Valento Santo just to like cleanse the air, because it's been like a new clean slate, let that like new energy come in and flow through. So that's also like another beautiful ritual as well.
Yeah. And I think when we talk about going back to the bullying and anxiety and not fitting in, I think that happens at any age. It's not just for teenage girls, it's for all of us that like we don't know, like look at what's happened this last couple of years. Who would have thought, right? Who knows what's ahead of us? We just don't know. We don't know how to live in today's world. And the more that we can help each other out and share these type of things, I think it really can make a difference between someone being here and enjoying life and not being, like, you know what I mean? Like it can be something so small, but you learning something about this. You may be talking to someone else right now who may need this.
Yeah, 100%. Simple as that. I mean, like it's just a simple conversation with someone, like, and it's happened with me. I know it's happened with Pam as well. Like you'll be having a conversation with someone, and next thing you know, you have so much in common. Like I remember speaking to a recruiter a while ago, and we were both talking about it. We got onto the conversation about crystals and how we both had this love and passion for them. Like, you know, you could just meet someone, anyone, like, and they would have like the same kind of passion as well, and interests.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's something that I would never have thought I would have been interested in a million years. It just didn't float my boat, wasn't interested, never came across it until I was running out of things that were working for me. Like I was like, oh, I feel like I need something. So I think there's a lot of people that are searching for something, and like counseling might not be for them, the gym might not be for them, talking about it might not be for them, but they might come across and see like one of your subscription boxes or one of your boxes that has journals, or actually I listened to that podcast with these girls. I want to know more about crystals, or I want to know more about sage, or I want to learn more about a ritual, about having some tea. And that's where I think your culture comes in a lot of it too, is you can teach some of us about your beautiful ways of how you've been brought up. And how, again, there's a lot of cultures and traditions that I love, because I wish I was part of that, because it goes back to us being connected to other things in the world, and like, you know, food is medicine, and traditional stuff that cultures have used for, we had that big disconnect, and now we're coming back to it, aren't we?
Yeah, most definitely. There's definitely been a real uplift in bringing more awareness to it. People have been a little bit more, I think we're constantly evolving, right? As humans, we're constantly evolving. You're not stagnant through your whole life and have this one constant belief. So for me, I think as people evolve, like I've had, you know, gentlemen message us on Instagram saying, my wife's going through a really hard time. Like, what would you recommend? What can we create for her so that she can, because we are evolving, and sometimes you see that, like you said, counseling may not work for you, or talking about it, like, for instance, my partner doesn't want to talk about nothing, so you know what I mean, so finding out
you have to be ready for it too. So maybe when they start journaling or they start doing like crystals, 6 months, like I'm someone, anyone's listening to this, I can't even believe I'm talking about it. I can't even believe I have the business, and let alone this is what I do. So if I can do it, I know there's people out there that will take one step and then they'll be like, actually, no, I am ready to talk about it now, or I will go see that person.
100%. Yeah, it's just, the way that we see it is that we really want to promote wellness in dealing with things in a very holistic manner, and inspiring, people, especially women, just to pause and just to take that time. We can all find 20 minutes in a day where we can journal or sit down and light some incense and just sit in the quiet stillness of that moment and just be present to reconnect with yourself. Lighting a candle, having, herbal tea just to soothe and maybe calm some anxiety that you're feeling from the day. There are days where my days are hectic and I'm like, oh my God, like what a day, like I can't believe it's, 10 o'clock and I'm still doing stuff, and days like that, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to meditate. And, everyone does it in different places. And at this point, I was like, you know what? My mind was racing. It was 10:30 at night. I'm like, I'm just going to meditate. So I just sat up in my bed, put on my earphones, played some music and just meditated. And the funny thing is that, someone woke up and looked at me and it's like, what on earth are you doing? Because, it's 10:30 at night and I'm sitting there with my headphones and just meditating and taking that time for myself after rushing and not ending that cycle of things to do. It was just, sometimes you just need to listen to your body. If your mind is overloaded and you just can't keep a thought, just do something as simple as that, just to reconnect and just not be overcome by everything else around us. It's so important. And this is why every box has different elements to it, different mixes of elements, because we understand that people like different things, and at different times of someone's journey you may require or call on different things. For instance, we have like the new chapter box, and that's all about starting something new, whether you're starting a new relationship or a new job, or you're moving into a new house, everything there to cleanse of the past or cleanse of negative energies that don't belong in your space anymore, that you don't want in your space. That box is perfect. There's candles, there's sage, there's Palo Santo, there's these beautiful like cleansing organic hand wash and lotions in there as well. It's just, and then there's these beautiful crystals in there that are made to protect your space, you know. So there's so much on there to really resonate with all different types of journeys and different points in someone's lives. So there is some beautiful stuff, and we're very passionate about it. And, you know, we've had several customers just, you know, send us a nice message saying, oh, my God, it's been so amazing. Thank you so much. It was so beautiful the way it arrived. And they love the ethos of the business and the feel and the story behind it.
Yeah.
Which for us came quite naturally because we've both grown up with that. We both understand the importance. Like my sister used to say, used to celatine my children
from when they were babies.
Yeah. So for instance, if my son was really upset or, you know, he was very unsettled at night, she would come and grab him and she would just celatine him, you know, and he used to find that so soothing because there was this wand just passing through him and he'd be like looking at it all amazed by it, and then he'll just calm down and go to sleep, you know. So it's really
and I'm like, I was brought up with nothing like that, and not until recently, and even then people are like, oh, that's a bit weird. So people have until they've tried it, and I'm kind of like not a skeptic, but I was pushed into this area for a reason, to help others. I'm a really big believer in that, but also the universe didn't stop until I believed, if that kind of makes sense. It was, you need this, you need to meet these people, you need to go through this, and you need to have these crystals and I'm extremely spiritual. I always had it there, but I didn't realize how I was until all this stuff started to unfold. I'm sure there's people listening, and even listening to this podcast is a form of self-care, because what you're doing is you're learning about, if you're listening to this podcast, you're on a self-discovery of, I want to learn more about, there might be something in this, you know, one thing can change someone's life drastically. You just don't realize that, you know, that box that you send to someone, the ripple effect that it may have on someone. And I think because you guys are so approachable, if there's someone listening to this, like that beautiful husband, or you're a brother or an auntie, an uncle, or a cousin, oh, hey, I know someone that's going through this or this, what would you recommend? And that's what I love about you guys. It's not just go on your website and go, oh, here's some pretty crystals. I don't know what to do with them, but I'll buy them because it's kind of cool to have crystals now. It's cool to stage. But you take it that step further, and you've got boxes that are like, you're going through this, or you need this, or your body's healing, or you're going through this. You've really thought of all the different holistic elements to bring something together, but also because we are also different. You are so approachable that, hey, have you got anything for this? Or I've had a friend who's just gone through IVF. Have you got something for this? Or I've got a friend that's just lost someone. Have you got a grief box? Or have you got, you know what I mean? Like that's the cool thing, is I want people to know they can reach out to you and ask you these questions that you can tailor make to their budget or to their style or to what they need.
Most definitely. Yeah, we welcome. Our inbox is always open, even if you just want to have a chat about crystals or sage or
our experiences.
Or if you know, got a box and you're not too sure what to do or how the best the way to do it or whatever. Our inbox is always open, and you can always shoot us a message and we can give you a call if you want, or shoot you an email. It's, you know, we're always available. That's, you know, something.
Yeah, it's something. And I think as well, like from the beginning, we also wanted to kind of educate people as well, because, you know, if you're not aware of like the holistic and this world, like it can kind of be daunting. So we wanted people to kind of be like, oh, okay, like they can give us information about it as well. And, you know, I'm pretty sure we also like have like, you know, cards with information like about the crystal, that if there's a crystal in the card and things like like in the box, sorry, it gives them information about what type of crystal it is and like, you know, what does it benefit? Like, is it something for like love, like a rose quartz, or is it amethyst? And you know, things
you can always learn new things, even though when we're in an industry like this and you're in self-care or in anything of holistic health, we're constantly learning. And that's the cool thing, is you guys are educating people because you've been brought up with it. You could say something to me like, oh yeah, that's normal. I'm like, wow, no, that's not normal. Can you tell me more?
Yeah. Do you know that something that I've realized that I was actually really happy about? I think I felt, you know, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And it sort of shows where our society is going as well. We actually had some businesses reach out to us about corporate gifting that work within, you know, the health industry, or even just corporate, mainstream corporate, they were asking, because there's such a push and elevation now in workplaces for wellness and work-life balance and things like that. So when we got approached by some of these businesses, I was like, this is amazing. Like, I felt like almost like a sense of pride in the fact that this is where society is going, that, businesses are taking more interest in things like this, because there is a demand, and wellness looks different to everyone, just like self-care does. So the fact that they're reaching out because they would like to, come up with gifting for their clients and for their employees that incorporate some of these elements was a real sense of satisfaction for us, because, not as like a business, but more as like as a community, like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Like, if everyone just starts paying a little bit more attention to what we need as individuals, not as employees, not as anything like that, but just as individuals, I think that makes a world of difference,
I love that, because life has changed and it will never be the same now. And a lot of people are still working from home.
Yeah.
And that's the thing of the community and having these type of, you have a subscription boxes as well as just as like boxes that people can buy. And I think what a cool thing to be like looking forward to part of your self-care, but can be looking forward to getting something like, apart from like online deliveries and stuff, but imagine getting something in the mail that you've got for yourself as well.
Oh, 100%.
Yourself.
Yeah, it's beautiful that, look, the subscription boxes we love, especially our spring one, it is so beautiful. It's got this sparkling water that is immersed in the amethyst crystal, and it's only made on a full moon. Like, it is amazing. And we've actually loved that journey of discovering like different brands that really share that ethos of that are natural and eco-friendly and really immersed in that wellness and holistic area. So that's in there. There are some beautiful vegan organic chocolates in there as well. They are so amazing.
Good, yeah.
We test everything, right? We don't sell anything that we haven't tested ourselves. So that's probably the most fun part of our buying experiences. But yeah, you discover all these really beautiful brands that, it's to send packages like this every month or every season, because we do them seasonally, and in that box there'll be things for that season. So like in the subscription box this month, there's the water, there's the chocolate, there's the a beautiful natural all organic scrub as well, as you prepare for spring, cleansing yourselves, letting that new skin come through. Everything is done with so much intention. Like the products that we include in these boxes, we really think about, okay, what's the season and what do we want to, what do we want them to experience with this box? What are we trying to get them to reconnect with Mother Nature and the seasons and with themselves? There's also Palo Santo in there. No, it's a sage, actually. Sorry, it's the white sage.
You just keep saying that every time you say that. I'm transparent, going, I wish I could talk like that.
So we've got the sage in there that you can burn, and again, cleansing that energy for the new season to come through, and let those new vibrations and that energy to filter through, your home or yourself, because you can sage yourself as well. So each box has been created with so much intention. And like I said, like we taste test, we try everything before we bring it on.
Yeah, and I love that, because when I reached out to you, whenever it was, I'm really big on high quality and luxurious stuff and stuff that, if you're going to get something good, do your research and get something that's good.
Yeah. And
what I love about everything you do is every part of what you do, you both are in it. Like I can tell when I receive a package from you, it's from you, and everything to the bow, to the everything. I notice that stuff, and it makes me as the receiver like, oh my gosh, everything's been intentional, everything's thought of, and I just think, sometimes in this space too, when I was looking for people to partner with or wanting to do it, was just like, no, you don't quite get it, no, and that's how I really feel like we strongly align. Is a piece of you isn't that business, but it's intentional. Like you can feel that the oils that you have or the scrubs that you have are like the best, and it's all organic, and when you use it, you're really transfixed and going like, I don't know about you, but I know when I'm using a $2 scrub and when I'm using a $45 scrub, and people go, oh, same, and I'm like,
no, you can tell.
I wish I could be same. Like, there's some days I think, oh, I wish I could use a $2 shampoo because, you don't even notice the difference. You do. And that's the thing is with the stuff that you have, it's everything that you use is just, it takes you back to the smell of something or something that just makes you feel good. And you know how, I don't know about you guys, but there's so many times in our lives when we treat ourselves or we use something nice, we go, oh, we need to do this more.
Yes.
But we don't. And I'm going to call out everyone now to be like, you are. That's what that's your plan for this week or for this season.
Yeah.
So when you find yourself going, oh, I really enjoy this, I should do this more, do it.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more.
And I think that's what we wanted. We wanted people to come back and be like, you know what, I need to do this more often.
Yeah.
Because it's and like we tend to do that. Like, I feel like I think the more that the world evolves, the more less time that we spend on ourselves, which is sad. And that's what kind of pushed us as well. Like we were guilty of that too. There were moments that Pam and I weren't doing self-care. We were, no, we need to stop this. Like we need to take care of ourselves. Like if we want to take care of the people around us, we need to first take care of ourselves. And that might mean like 5 minutes to ourselves each day, but it's something.
Yeah.
But our bodies and life are pretty clever. If you guys are amazing, your awareness, I think, of how you've been brought up and stuff, you're very aware of, oh, we need to do this. But most people will, life will take over and their bodies will take over and make them take time. So you can only escape it for so long. There's people like you guys that will actually recognize it yourselves and go, oh, I need to do a bit more of this. And there's some people that will just keep going, slogging it, go, until their body goes, I can't do this anymore. Or they keep choosing the wrong relationships and I can't do this anymore. You keep doing, speaking from experiences, I was on this cycle and I just kept living the same life over and over again to the point where I was like, oh, literally, this will happen one day. I was like, oh, okay. Now I can see what everyone else was saying to me. Click.
Yeah.
And I was like 38 or 39 and I was like, oh. So for me, I kept going and pushing because I'm an Ayurveda medicine too. Like this is the cool thing is I've learned all this, like little bits of this, and I'm so fascinated by it. Yeah. And I'm a pitter, like I'm really strong pitter, which is very hard working, and our bodies and our minds can just keep like we're trying to just go. So that's cool because people go, oh, Barbara, you're so strong, you can just keep going. But that's the downside of me and my personality too, is I can just keep going. So what my lesson is I kept going. My life and my situation, everything was just like, stop. And it makes you stop, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? And then you actually have to look for things and go, oh, well, at the crossroads, do I want to keep doing this? Well, this is not serving me anymore. Okay, well, I've got to go do this. Well, I don't want to do that because it's scary and I'm comfortable. I think I'd rather, like for me, I'd rather just be in these shitty relationships, work like very similar to, work and men and everything. Maybe I just hang here because I'm pretty good at that. I'm really good at picking shitty relationships. I'm really good at picking shitty toxic jobs. Maybe I just stick to that. And it's so hard to go no and to relearn and rewire yourself and relook at a new way because most people, unfortunately, don't like to be, I don't want to butcher this, we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
I want to be uncomfortable. So we're just on, there's people that have been in the same jobs for 30 years, 40 years and, and married, nothing wrong with this, married, kids, da. And then if you sit down and have a cup of tea with them and how happy are you, they'll be like,
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. 100%.
But we all want that.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Yeah. Like when you're single or when you're married or whatever, you always look across the fence and go, oh, they're so happier, or look at them, or I wish I could have their life. But behind closed doors, we're all dealing with, we all have stuff.
Yes.
Not one person on this earth that doesn't have stuff. And if you know someone right now that you're like, wow, they are nailing life. They're always so positive and they're always so happy, and wow, good on them. Big red flag.
Yeah.
Like, we're all vulnerable. We're all humans. We're not perfect, and it's okay. And the more conversations, like when we started this podcast today, how beautiful was it for both of you to share something that was you didn't have to. We could have just talked about your business and why you do it. You could have left that personal, really vulnerable side. So I just want to thank you both for sharing your journey and what you've been through, because I know there was someone that's listened to this that, yes, I've been through miscarriages, or I've been through this, and it's really hard.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it is. I think everyone just needs to really show themselves that kindness to process those emotions and to find healthy ways to deal with whatever journey you're on, like whether it was toxic relationships and leaving them, or experiencing loss after loss. Like, it's really about you being able to tune in and just find healthy ways that suit you, that benefit you, that you feel will help you go through that process. Because back then I didn't have I was so in my own little world that I didn't really spend the time to do that, and that came later in my journey of trying to start a family, where I was like, okay, no, like I need to really, what I did do was stop, and I said, okay, I don't want to continue this right now, let's press pause, because I needed to heal and I needed to work through all those emotions and the trauma that I had experienced in order to go back and really do it and do it right and be present and be in the right headspace to go through that journey again, because you didn't know what the outcome was going to be again. So, but next I have two really cute little monkeys, and my daughter's name is Mia. So Mia is where we've gotten her name. So Mia, and Mae is mother in Portuguese. So it stands for Mother Earth, for mother, for caring, nurturing, all those things that come. That's why it's called Mia and Mae Co.
Such a beautiful name. So as we wrap up, is there anything, like, you've shared some really great, I always call them golden nuggets, you've shared some really great tips, crystals in the bra, all sorts of things. Anything else that you'd like to share with my listeners before we, wrap up for today?
I would probably, the only thing I would suggest, and I've been actually sharing this with a lot of people lately, because it's been a topic of conversation with me lately. Maybe it's because like the universe is like, you need to share this with everyone. But lately people have been asking me about like, protecting the front doorway of like a home. And for me, I've always had an amethyst at the front because it's a really good stone to have near the front door. It protects like the energy of anyone coming into the home. So that's definitely one thing that I would probably bring forward as well.
As in people, so I'm not, I'm learning. So I'm going to ask really dumb questions here. So when you have that crystal in the front part of your house, it could be like on a nice table, when people walk in. So are we talking people, but also spirits and other things that whatever people believe in, that protects whatever walks through your front door, right?
The energy, it just protects the energy and it protects the home. It's a good one to have near the front door, some amethyst, and then always make sure that you put them under the full moon. To recharge. We have like a tradition like that I've had, and especially when I was living with Pam, like Pam doesn't really know this, but I used to always take my nephew out on the full moon like when she would be sleeping. And if it was a full moon, him and I would go out there and we would sit under the full. I would ride him up, obviously. Like I'd put a beanie on him and everything like that. So he wouldn't get sick because he was very little.
Yeah, he was prem.
He was prem. So, but it was our little ritual that we had. And like even till now, they still go out under the full moon, and I still go out under the full moon, and I'll sit there in silence and lay out my little crystals all over my blanket. And that's a beautiful little ritual to have as well, especially for young ones as well. It's a beautiful memory for them to grow up and be like, every full moon I used to sit outside with my auntie.
Because isn't it, I know I had a friend in the police back in New Zealand, and it was a known fact that on a full moon, the police, the ambulance service, whatever, always actually put more staff on because crazies come out.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I've heard that too.
I've heard that.
Even in Australia, it's the same thing.
Yeah. So like the ER, nurses, doctors, police, paramedics, whatever, they actually put more staff on when there's a full moon. And I don't know where I've got a few friends in the police. I think I know who it was, but that's something that stuck with me that I thought burglaries or weirdos or whatever. I don't even know if you can say weirdos. I'm not very PC, but I just say what I say. People know who I am. I come with love. But yeah, that's what a beautiful ritual. But I know there's another side to the full moon. I know it, like different people come out. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's from one extreme to another. Like I love sitting under the full moon. Like if I had a big like block of land and it was like greenery everywhere, I would be in heaven. Like that would be my element, just laying there, like, embracing the moon.
It's very because where I live right now, it's always kind of right there, so it's really prominent. But it's really what's the word? Like serenity, very peaceful, very soothing, very calming.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I feel like it reconnects you to Mother Earth, and Mother Earth is it's so beautiful. Like there's like I don't think you can even put into words how that is. Like, just even like I like to take off my shoes and my socks and put my feet on the ground, especially on the full moon, like just to embrace that energy.
Yeah.
And really feel it, and it's very beautiful.
Oh, I actually maybe a year ago actually realized how affected I was by the moon. When I was feeling down, whatever, just before maybe 2 or 3 days before a full moon, I'll feel really anxious or just feel down. And now I actually make a note of, I have a paper diary, always have, always will. With my clients, anything I need to do, I'm very old school like that. But I actually write in my diary when there's a full moon every month. So I look at it and go, oh, whoop, okay. So I make sure I'm very, what's the word? Can't think of the word. Mindful. There we go. Isn't that a funny word for me to forget? Mindful. I'm very mindful of who I book in that day, what I do that day, and it's just I guess that's a hot tip from me, is I actually make a note of when there's a full moon now, because it really I make sure it's a calming day for me, and I don't really have anything big on there, and it's really changed how I feel about myself and my business and what I do, my intentions. Just one thing of writing down when there's a full moon. And I'm really, like I said, I'm really new to this, and I'm learning little bits every day. But that was one thing that helped me, was like just knowing when it was there. Again, I can put my crystals out, sure, but it was more my mindset and what I did on that day.
Yeah.
And not knowing that 2 days before, I just sometimes feel a bit off.
Yes, yeah, that totally resonates with me, because the 2 days before the full moon, I'm always a little bit more flustered.
Yeah.
And I've got like this like irritation kind of energy, but I don't know what it is. And then I'll like journal it, or I'll have a look and I'll be like, oh, it's a full moon.
Yeah.
And this might get like real personal, but my cycle is always on a full moon. Like,
wow.
Yeah, which is
awesome. Yeah, because I'm not affected by my cycles anymore, because I'm not on the pill or anything. So normally I'd get a bit shitty or short or get pains or get something. I go, oh, my period's coming. Now I don't. I know when it's coming, but I don't feel anything. I just get it and carry on.
Yeah.
I don't have any, at the moment, I don't have any fluctuations in my hormones to determine that. So now that's taken away. So when I was getting a bit short, a bit anxious, sometimes it's irritable, sometimes it's just overwhelmed, I look at my diary and go, oh, it's not my period anymore, it's the moon. which is all linked anyway, but it's so fascinating, isn't it?
It is super fascinating.
Oh, so we could talk all day. So anyone listening that would like to, remember we've got Christmas coming up. I've got listeners in New Zealand and in Australia. So if you're in New Zealand or Australia, you can purchase from these ladies. So can you share with us like where they can find you and how they can get a subscription box? And
so the easiest way is you can go to our website. So it's just www.miaandmaeco.com.au, or our Instagram. So it's Mia and Mae.co. And like we said, our inbox is always open.
Yes, always. Yeah. It's super friendly, like easy going to chat to.
Definitely you are. And I'll put a link into the show notes. So if people can't, I'll tag you in all the posts and stuff, but if people can't find you, I'll put all your details in the show notes as well. So it has been a pleasure talking to you today, everything about self-care and what you do. And I truly, I'm so grateful I've met you both. And I know in the future, like I can't wait to see where this takes us, but it's just such a beautiful collab. And it's so great that people really need you. And I love learning, you're my go-to, so I love learning things from you ladies. And you're so patient, and I can ask you the most stupidest questions because I have no filter. I'll just ask a question because I just don't know. And you explain it in such a beautiful way. So again, if you're a newbie like me and you want to learn about crystals, or these ladies are the best place to learn from because they explain it in a way that's just, you can really just understand it. You can ask heaps of questions and you're not feel silly at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's a silly question for us. So.
Yeah, no, but thank you so much. So, yes, thank you. Thank you for coming onto this podcast today. I know it's going to help a lot of people.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. It's been an honour. Thank you so much.
Thank you for holding the space for us to discuss it. And
pleasure. I know this will be the start of many more things for us to do together.
Yes. Most definitely. Thanks, Barbara. Thanks.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it has inspired you on your self-care journey. Please feel free to share this with a friend and subscribe over on Apple Podcast. I really love hearing your feedback, so guys, please feel free to write a review on Apple and let me know which part of this episode resonated with you the most. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. To find out a bit more about Self-Care Studio or the Studio Chat podcast, head over to my Instagram page, self_care_studio, or on my website, selfcarebybarbarathompson.com.au. Really look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Look after you. And I'll catch you soon. Bye!